Yes, they are. Hi, internet.
Oh my
I'm Raytog. These are my friends, and we're going to play D&D Galactic.
Are you for?
Did you say raid tog?
You're coming to my world next, motherfucker.
It has been going downhill for a while, ladies and gentlemen, but
That's
this
true.
might just be the night where it drops off the edge of the cliff. We don't know what the consequences will be. I don't know what the consequences will be, and that's why it's fun. I'm Raytog. This is D&D Galactic. These are my friends. It's been a little while since we've been on this screen, where we've seen all of everybody's little faces and tokens and stuff. Because we've been on a very specific planet for a very considerable amount of time. So, I guess before we get started, how is everybody doing? Are we all mentally and emotionally prepared?
I put the free in
Depends on
freezer
what it is.
today, and I gardened today, and I photosynthesized as appropriate for human bodies.
In preparation for exploding into bouts of rage later?
Yeah,
that's what I do.
That sounds like me. That sounds like a me thing, doesn't it? No, yeah, for sure. Are you sure that you didn't mean exploding into bouts of tears? Because that sounds more like me.
It just might. Okay. So, I'm gonna start this with the DM question that always happens, and it seems to work out really well. What y'all remember about last time?
We came, we saw, we got off the planet.
We escaped off the planet.
That did
We're
occur.
free.
We had a big argument over religion.
We leveled up twice.
We got a big argument over religion. Is probably the best summation of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you level up at all?
Yeah.
Yes.
We had a religious
Yeah.
argument.
You didn't absolutely level up. It's Missouri starting shit immediately.
Some of us just immediately tuned out.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh, the moment of him seeing it is just so good.
That's why it feeds
You
my
just
soul.
turn in the face for.
I can't see now when I run in a couple of weeks. I can't play around with my shit as much. That's why I got to get it all out now.
Dog? Can you?
Oh dear.
I will see how much I care.
He's
I
got
feel
a
like
book he
it's
wants
just
to
Matt's
read.
thing,
I don't
you
know that he
know.
wants to.
Yeah, it's true. I do have little effects going on for that.
Oh,
That's also true.
So
somehow. I'm still trying to piece together how the fuck we managed to take on whatever that creature was and a big ass orc in giant mech armor type shit.
the answer
Well, because
Not
we
all-
shoved it
is
into the lava.
anger
'cause the orc
and
was-
lava.
Because the
Yep.
orc was
Yeah.
poorly positioned.
You're welcome.
Oh no,
Yeah, that was
he
very
was
close to not
forced.
working out too, but it did, and it was really cool. It seems to be the Tatsu's running thing for this is becoming this close to death, and somehow coming in clutch and Vegeta securing the kill. This seems to be on point.
Tatsu is Vegeta confirmed. Got it.
No, absolutely not. Vegeta wouldn't turn his back on an enemy.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure that
Vegeta would taunt
literally
the
half of the images of Vegeta are him being moody and looking
Yeah,
over
but
his shoulder.
but not towards a weaker enemy, because the tentacle enemy was the power enemy.
I'll tend to
Vegeta would-
your enemy. That sigh.
Speaking
That
of
heavy sigh.
interperspersonal
Speaking of tentacles,
conflict,
how are you doing, Tia?
No comment.
Good check. It's safe. That is safe.
Speaking of interpersonal
just-
conflict,
Oh, oh boy.
That is a pointy ship.
that
Yeah.
is your literal lifeline. That,
Oh yeah.
if you remember from a bajillion years ago, maybe actually a literal year, is the Venator. The ship that your ship is docked inside, and where your dropship is currently going, where the Hell Knights were that sent you down here in the first place. Before you got hell-divered down to the terrible jungle surface of totally not Malevolent Creek.
We were hell divers before hell divers.
That's
Yeah.
Shit.
completely
You're right.
true. Completely true. You're welcome. So, you are in a shuttle headed towards this ominous ship. Y'all are kind of beat up. If I looked correctly at the hit point totals, Alton is still a little messed up.
Yeah.
Did everybody add their points from last week? Their health points? Because I had ran a heal on.
It's still in the chat, too, if I remember correctly. Aura of Vitality, yep. 7.
Right. Everybody, regained 7 points at the end.
And if you did or didn't, you are not necessarily in mortal danger currently, but you never know.
Who knows who might turn on who at this point?
Whoa. Whoa.
It's
Alden lost
very
one
ominous.
family. He's not going to lose another. All right.
To be clear, the situation that you are in right now is you are all in the shuttle. There are 2 Hell Knights that are like kind of fulfilling the role of faceless stormtrooper guards, like next to the door. Chiron is still there with you, Centaur, and the other tall female Hell Knight named you heard the name Ravine earlier, is in the shuttle with you.
I remember Ravine.
All right, where are we at?
Where's the druid?
Muscle
Oh yeah,
mommy.
and so people there are.
Muscle mommy.
Boop.
Did somebody say Karlak?
What? No, nobody said Karlak.
But Muscle Mommy was said.
Yeah,
Pretty sure
but no, that
I'm
wasn't.
pretty sure
There
that's
are more
not
muscle mommies than Karlak.
There's a whole world of muscle mummies out there, Bruce. You just have to find them.
Oh, trust me, I found one.
it.
My wife is a muscle mommy.
Oh. Good on you.
Oh, I like how that went. So the people with
Beanie.
there's a bunch, and we still have. And Chiron is still there. Present. Move shit out of the way a little bit. Yep. So, I assume there's a bit of awkward silence.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Seems reasonable.
Is Kilowatt still perched with Fee?
He would have won back to.
What's around on the ship? That makes sense.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
Ride
I
takes a
think-
few minutes.
So this seems tense.
Yeah, there's a huge herd of elephants in the room here. We need to iron some of that out, everyone. In the herd, as it were. Humanely.
It's a good
Alden,
Oh.
now would be the time to stop talking.
Well, then maybe you have something to say, Tatsu. Not so great to have shut up the halfling now.
Whoa, 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 whoa. There's too much hostility, and I don't like it. We are a family. I am not losing another family, damn it. We may not always get along, but that's what families do. At the end of the day, they're family.
You know, my family is the reason why Gorko was kidnapped.
You forsook you. What's the right? Hold on. You gave up that family because they sucked, and you picked a new one. That's allowed. I mean, what family kidnaps your friends to get back at you?
Same kind that holds prisoner, I suppose.
You're not like them, and you don't have to be, Fee. And I'm sure that you know that, but you.
No, I'm simply upset that the moment I was clear about my faith, I've once again been faced with what I also often am, and although I am familiar with the troubles this causes, I'm no less hurt when it happens. It's fine. Most people don't prefer my goddess. Most people don't prefer the drow. It doesn't change the core of my faith. I owe my life and my power to my goddess, and if that is a problem, I understand. I'm willing to be respectful of your choices, but I cannot be helpful to this team without her.
Despite the fact that you're talking a lot like somebody who's made up their mind about something that you're not sharing with the group, you are more helpful to this team than I think you realize. And none of it has to do with your goddess.
I don't know what power I wield without her.
Brains.
I believe he's not saying it's power. It's you.
Yeah, that, Ron.
Out of curiosity, what is Haran working on with it? 14.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
That means it really matters.
Excellent. That's my favorite thing.
Oh shit.
Send me a message when nobody
storming here.
suspects it of what he's building.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh shit, it's storming here. Wonderful. Just saw some lightning. Anyways, personally, I don't give a damn who you worship. As far as your faith goes, I care what you do with what you can do. As far as being a kind person, as far as helping out your family, your friends, and you've done all that. Sure, your goddess is a matter of debate on many levels for a lot of people, but I don't care. You bring more value being who you are as Fee than what your faith provides to any of us. Your faith is your concern as far as I'm concerned. That's good enough for me. You've proven yourself time and again to be a huge help to all of us. And I don't see the point in petty squabbles over something that none of us can control for you. Truly, I don't see the point.
If If my goddess is of no matter, then what is the upset that we face?
Well, looks like it's a to each their own moment. Where your goddess and your belief system is that violence begets violence, that's all fine and good. But when it calls for life and death situations,
The end of evil. Yes.
Yuck it up while you
Yeah.
can, man.
is life and death the only way to truly get rid of evil all the time? Is I think what the crux of this whole pattern is. We don't have to kill all of our enemies in
We
order to
really didn't
eliminate
have-
evil.
We really didn't have the time to start rehabilitation.
No, but you can put enough fear into someone that they won't be an issue anymore.
He laughed in our faces when we made that attempt. He grinned at the challenge. That is what I used to make my decision on acting in my faith. Perhaps if we could have spent the time, if the veritable volcano we were sitting in weren't about to explode, then we could have perhaps done something else.
I want to be clear. I was not trying to rehabilitate him. That was not the point. I didn't think he could be rehabilitated or not. It was unnecessary to kill him at that juncture, and we could have moved on.
As I said at the time, I know that sometimes people of my age can become stuck in their ways and their knowledge. And I agree with you that perhaps it is time for me to re-examine the core of my faith and not the practice that I have followed for so long. But
Sorry.
In that moment, I do not feel that there was a way to stick to my faith that ended in a different result.
I just kind of want to point out that he was fine until you tried to threaten him with violence, which he seemed to relish. I'm not saying that your way wasn't right. It's just your way wasn't right before the situation. He seemed to revel in violence. You threatening him made him bolstered him, so to speak. That's all.
I understand. I hear what you are saying. The tenet of violence begets violence is connected to good and evil and the prevention of further violence. And anybody who relishes in violence in the way that he did when I attempted to intimidate him into peace. Anybody who revels in violence the way that he does, I don't believe, is going to give up such things.
But what I understand of orc culture, they value strength. If you would have proved strength, he would have listened to you. You challenged him, and he wanted to prove that he did not need to listen to you.
That's fair.
Builder and I threatened him in a way that was not violent per se. So
this
he
is
did not
going
feel
on right
challenged.
now. This is going on right now. It's kind of a little powwow with Fee and Haran, a little bit of Tatsu on the side. For the other
Like a side
people
dish.
who are in the in the shuttle. Is there anything that they're doing in particular, say Builder or Yasana or anything?
Builder is sitting there listening very intently, but almost like you've all probably seen when Builder goes into Sentinel mode, and he's just kind of sitting there, very non-expressive.
Easy for him.
And then, whenever there's like a break in the conversation, like it seems like there's a lull where it's not being actively discussed, Builder will chime in, but I didn't know if you were done yet.
Before that happens, I'm going to give both Builder, who is not involved with this, Alton's listening, so I'm going to assume that he's involved in this conversation too. So Builder and Yasana, just general perception check. Because you're not engrossed in what? Talk. That's puke.
Both shit. Cool. I'm focused too much
Perception?
on this conversation in front of me.
Hmm.
13 is enough. Builder, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to consider. Yasana, you're looking at the two Hell Knights that are not guards. They don't seem to be paying a lot of attention to this conversation between Chiron and Ravine. You do, since it's above a 10, get the impression that once in a while they're not speaking out loud, but you see their heads move a little bit now and then. You realize that they are talking with their helmets closed, probably over comms in a private channel to each other that nobody can hear.
Fair.
And you are probably the only one here that noticed this. And that's it. Would Haran and Fee, would you say that the lull in the conversation has happened for Builders to see his opportunity to chime in?
I think that we're kind of talking in circles. I mean, Fee at this point feels she's talking in circles. So if Haran doesn't have a different point to make.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie where the bad guy has the main character trapped? And he's like, well, I'm going to just leave and assume that you won't become a problem again. And then he does.
Sure.
The decision to kill him was a tactical one. It was for the sake of safety, the best decision. Perhaps not the most humane, perhaps not the kindest. But it was a battle.
We've
An
had a battle.
ongoing battle that we need to take every precaution we can, or else further future plans would dissolve because of one rogue element.
But that's not what happened.
No, because we killed him.
No, because we brought down the entire fortress on his head. Either way, it would have happened the same way. So killing him outright in that manner would not have...
Did you know that the mountain was going to crumble?
Did you know that he wouldn't turn his life around? If we're going to go hypotheticals, there's no winning. There's no winning an argument like this. That's the point is, I value life, though I understand the need sometimes to take it. That does not... You take life. That is not... Say you don't respect it, but you take life. It was not necessary in that juncture to take his life. We could have left him and let things happen the way they did, and he still would have died. You did not need to get the blood on your hands in that manner. There's no point in trying to come up with what ifs and wherefores.
No, the
That-
thing, Haran is right. Outside of my faith, which bids me act in a certain way, there was no purpose in that death. That is true. And undeniable.
I find the need for the precaution, the justification.
And that is a point where you and Haran disagree. The problem is that acting within my faith, again, is who I am. And that is why I took the action I felt was required. But again, outside of my faith, I agree with Haran. I acted in such a way that I have been taught is correct and safe by my God. And because of that, I did what I did. It would not have been necessary had I followed perhaps a goddess less steeped in darkness. But I have no regrets about the goddess I follow. And while I have agreed that perhaps it is time to make sure that I follow teachings correctly, I don't regret my choices.
That would be Builder's opportunity.
There's a lot that's been said here that gives me pause and makes me wonder about a great many things. I think maybe apart from Fee and potentially Isana, I've been around quite a while, and I've done a lot of things that, looking back now with different perspectives, maybe give me pause. I think that the death of that orc was unnecessary because, and this is just a philosophy that I've always lived by, if you're strong enough to make the decision to walk away, you're not showing weakness or giving your enemy an opportunity. You're showing your enemies that if they want to come back for you, they have to be stronger than you. And if you have the ability to walk away and let them live, they won't be. Something that I've really come to struggle with is that quests for vengeance often don't end the right way.
Tetsu twitches at that.
My entire species changed their form out of vengeance. And to show what we've accomplished, I have no home, no people. Potentially the entire star system that I come from is gone. Because our enemy didn't see us as a threat, and they let us walk away. And we came back with vengeance. And here we are now. We were the weaker enemy. That's evident because they are rampant across this galaxy.
And there's a slight head turn towards Yusana at that moment.
Now, Fee, I don't know anything about your goddess. I know little of your faith, aside from what you've told us all and what you've shown. What I do know, though, is that your actions have shown me that you are a good person on your own. What I have seen in the short time that I've been with all of you is that you try to make the best choices you can with the information that you have. And I think, honestly, I don't know that your power comes from a goddess. I don't know that. I haven't seen that. But I do know that in my time, I've seen entire worlds burn in service of an entity that told them to do things that they felt were righteous. I've seen families turn on one another. I've seen cities attack one another, apparently for very little provocation. But I've also seen that at least one of those entities can have an emissary or a herald that doesn't immediately attack me on sight and doesn't appear to have any ill intent, with ample opportunity to do so. So, as a general, I guess, tenet that I would go by is that if your god, goddess, entity, patron, whatever you want to call them, when they start to tell you to kill, if you question it all, it definitely is time to look and evaluate. But I will look at you now and tell you that if you've done that, if you, Fee, have done that, and that's the decision you came to, then I trust you.
So, up until this point, Fee has been sort of just fiddling with her things, right? Are all of my potions in place? Are all of my things where they go? But when Builder says this, she looks surprised, mostly, more than anything else. And as she turns to look at Builder, she says, I appreciate that more than I think it is easy for me to say. When you turned away the blessing that I have given you time and time again in our journeys, I assumed you wanted perhaps nothing to do with me, but certainly not to do with the gifts of power that I have from a being that you are unsure is worth following. But if there is anything that I have learned in my many years of faith, it is that at the core of things, my goddess is good. she wants the best for her people, and she wants to be sure that the world is a safe place for people to live within. She doesn't care if you once followed Loth, if you no longer follow any god. She wants a kind and safe and generous world. There are practices for death too soon. There are practices for death of those who are evil. And there are practices on every step in between. But the fact of the matter is, I don't act in this world without thought to her and to what she would want. And my concern is that I serve a purpose that does not suit you.
At that, Tatsu gets up and walks to the front of the craft and leans in and starts saying something to the pilots.
So that's going to be a small, fun little bit. Who's engaged in this conversation and who's eavesdropping?
Hi.
It's going to be perception checks. If people are
focused on
Builder is involved in this, and the perception check would not be allowed for Builder.
Yasana's just eavesdropping.
In general, yeah. So perception checks for both of you. Beat a 10.
Yasana as well.
Yep.
Ooh, inspiration.
Ha ha ha! That's the end. We're using it all up.
Smoke him if you got him.
Yes.
Did it roll? I didn't get a roll.
I didn't get a roll
Yeah.
either.
Didn't roll either.
That's
There it
weird.
goes.
There it is.
Laggy night. Oh damn. So yeah, that's a lot. So
Okay.
Mr. Good Barrel, you are just enough to like kind of like, because you're sort of involved in the conversation, but you see this happening and you do one of these where you're like leaning back and just trying to get in. Gisana is absolutely able to perceive everything.
As usual.
As usual. So
That's what happens when you ignore the quiet ones.
Mm-hmm. So what
She has 3 eyes. She gets to be extra perceptive.
Mm-hmm. So Tatsu leans forward. We're gonna actually play this little scene out briefly.
En route, would you please get permission from the flight deck to take me back down?
Shit, I forgot the name. Todd,
First
help
of the
me out.
city?
I got you.
Oh, you have secret plans. Sorry.
Secret
I found
plans.
something.
Oh God, what there's a
Secret tunnel.
No, that's different. That's a rated
quit trying to
MA.
autocorrect my fantasy things. You're still man. There you go.
I have business to take care of in Irish.
Pilot and co-pilot both appear to be more lightly armored Hell Knights, but they still got the whole full face thing. More humanoid than the centaur that you've been traveling with the whole time. Both of them kind of like glance to each other briefly. One of them holds up a finger and like lowers their head. And this time you see what Yasana had picked up earlier. It looks like the person is talking. You can't hear anything coming out from under the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the whole, oh, these assholes can turn off the speakers on their helmets whenever they want. and are communicating. But the person is actually holding up a finger, like, so Tatsu's just fully let in on the trick by this. And they seem to be waiting for a second. And then you do hear there's a little click of the helmet of the speaker turning back on.
I'm told that you're to debrief with the Marylander that sent you down there in the first place. After that, they say you can negotiate passage with him.
Very well.
Hey, that's actually good news. They didn't deny you outright.
Thank you.
And Tatsu, none the wiser to all of your eavesdropping.
Yasana definitely sees this very clearly. Is she doing anything for this? Or is she just playing it cool and doing nothing?
Oh no, she's playing it cool.
Alden.
She is curious about what they're talking about, but
You definitely, because Lucy's mic cut out a little bit when he said, you definitely heard the name Frostfire Ridge spoken.
Yasana did?
Yep, you heard the whole thing.
Hmm.
That's where Tatsu asked to go.
Okay.
Is Alton playing it cool?
Alden never plays it cool.
This is why I'm excited.
I'm
See what
just waiting
happens.
for this. So where the fuck is Frostfire Ridge?
What's in
It
Frostfire
may-
Ridge, man?
It may surprise you to know that Alton is actually going to do something very unexpected. Alton just pulls out, at this point, his hands have been in his pockets for a little bit,
Oh, good.
and he found something in his pocket, and so he pulls out a little black dice box from his pocket. And looks at it confused after he hears this.
In your hand, there's a little black dice box of nicely carved wood. It's got a nice varnish on it, a little bit of a sheen. There's no labels or wording on it. Almost about the size of a box that you'd put like a little bigger version of like the box you would put like a wedding ring in, with the.
Yeah.
Does he open it?
Alton. Oh no. Alton would like to first recall why this seems somewhat familiar.
You don't need to.
What would-
You've seen
Oh.
this before. This
okay.
this is not a thing where rolls are required.
Okay. Alton knows exactly what he's looking at then.
Yep.
How'd I get this? He looks to Tatsu briefly.
Tatsu just sees. No perception check needed.
Alton. Where the fuck did you get that?
I don't
How the
know.
fuck did you get that?
I don't know. It was just in my pocket.
Put it on the floor and don't touch it.
So right after that line, while Alton is deciding what to do, one of the guards at the back actually does say,
Here we go.
Alright, AG, we're coming up on the Venator. Get ready to disembark.
oh, and Alton, I'm going to say Alton cannonly flips a coin. Because it's a rogue thing.
Tails. He puts it back in his pocket instead of putting it on the ground. I'm gonna hold on to this.
No. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Oh shit.
Because Alton would be not stupid enough to just, I'm not going to listen to you. So
Wait, have you
Tatsu.
been paying attention this entire campaign? He totally would be that stupid to not listen.
Tatsu, I would like you to give me an opposed perception check to beat a 25.
God
I mean, why do you do this
You
to
can just say
me?
you can just say you choose to fail if you want, or you can try. Your choice.
No, I'm going to try.
Okay.
A 25?
Yep. He rolled a 25.
Yeah.
I can't, but here we go.
You get a 20.
See how it could be close? It's not close. So here's what it looks like that happens. Alden, you say that to Alden, put it on the floor and don't do it. And there's a momentary distraction where the Hell Knight's like, all right, we're ready to disembark. So you see Alton kind of flick his wrist, yeah, okay, and just look like he threw it on the ground. And he taps his foot a little bit to make a little audio thing to sound like he just threw it on the ground. And he just palms it and it's back in his pocket.
Bruce.
Oh, this is gonna be so bad, but so great at the same time.
That's what I'm here for. So the shuttle does very quickly. You fly into the docking bay of the Venator. You can see your ship not far from where the shuttle lands. The Hell Knights all file out very Imperial March style. Not really surrounding you and corralling you into the direction that you are to go to the debrief, but also sort of. I assume nobody challenges this and runs off to go in their own random direction for the sake of ease. Okay. So you are led off of the ship and you head back to the area before, which is a observation deck. Looking down over the planet of Thrak. And Leni has just been with you the whole time, not saying anything, just kind of part of the escort group. She had come here before you and was working with the Hell Knights before, so she seems pretty comfortable. But in the room are Karan, who is on the field, the Hell Knight Ravine that got you out, and once more, you do see the guy who sent you down here, gave you your quest in the first place, Marilictor Brutok. Once it actually decides to load and show people. There he is. The big orc.
Well, we've made it back. Tell me, what happened?
The abridged version, mission successful. We saved 2 of your people, and I'm sorry we couldn't save more.
I feel like for the gold that I am providing to the AG, slightly more than the abridged version is required.
I'll let someone else handle that, because I can't wrap my head around everything we saw.
Out of character, one time, say neighbor.
Neighbor.
That's neighbor.
That's what I said, neighbor.
I love that commercial.
Super Bowl commercials are fun.
I love that commercial. Anyway.
Yep. Okay. That was required. I agree. Thank you.
All right.
We were some of us were knocked out of the air on entry into the planet. It delayed us greatly, reconnecting our party and rescuing those of us in need of rescue. I won't name names. And once we had reunited, it took a number of days to reach the closest signal of your compatriots. We fought through one camp, used information we had gathered there to find a second location where we did the same, or where we attacked. It's been a while. And
Would you like to just go through the
after-
abridged version and say we say what happened if you're actually having trouble?
wait.
Okay.
No, hold
If
on.
you got it. If you got it.
Yeah. And then we found and rescued Linny. She took us along the way. We were attacked again. It slowed us down, and we reached the foundry and fought our way through there as well. That's all I have to add as SG.
And the status of the war chief.
The war chief is dead.
Lava
There's a
food.
larger problem. One that I'll have to elaborate on with you and your war council as best that I can in the time that we're given.
And Builder does. I don't want to go into it all.
Valid.
Haha. So, it's an interesting thing because you've been very, very secretive about any kind of like Outlander stuff previously, and when you mention like with your war council, he basically just looks at the two other Hell Knights in the room and kind of nods. They just come over and stand. There is it's weird dealing with the Hell Knights because they're very much a brutal, direct, violent, and everything but the rule of law opposed to morality completely. So it's very like, should we trust these people? But at the same time, they seem to be utterly without the concept of politics. All of the information, unless like there's a real reason to keep it secret, seems to be just shared openly.
No, Builder will go into great detail about his entire history with his people, how they evolved to fight this threat, how this threat seems to have been victorious over the time that Builder has been, we'll say, away, and then go into detail about the new threats that were encountered on the planet, giving ample time and interjection points for Charon, because Charon had mentioned potentially helping with this discussion and conveying the severity in a way that the Hell Knights would understand, and just really laying it all out and hoping to have a fighting force that might be able to stand up to them.
The conversation essentially goes this way. I'm not going to make any rolls for it because it's all open out there and chance isn't really a thing. It's who people are as opposed to roles here. Brutok and Ravine are looking at each other a couple of times through the long laying out of this great threat, which at first it's really kind of hard to get through Brutok's head that there's anything more important than the fact that one of the 7 war chiefs of his homeworld isn't there anymore. And there's a period of Okay, is this just some, like, bullshit space alien line? Is it just made up nonsense? But you're honest. And this guy has a devastating passive perception, and he can sense that. And he goes from not caring to not believing you, by the end of it, to fully believing you.
I also want to point out that I would go into great detail about how, in the past, they seem to be different now, but in the past, the reason that we fought this war in such secrecy was because the knowledge of them gave them power. And so that is why it has been difficult to find allies.
Well, as the commanding officer of the ship, there is very little that I can probably provide you except my word that you've done what you've claimed to do. You are honest. Your deeds back up your words. And I can pass that along to command.
That's enough. It's just become more unmanageable for me alone.
Ravine, however, kind of turns and looks at you.
We're going to have to see what we can do here. This definitely sounds like something bigger than the AG or my order. Would be able to deal with on their own. If you're willing, we could see to this in a concord. Perhaps starting in a small group. We look further into this. Because if this truly is a threat facing the payload system, there must be a wall to stand against this darkness. And believe me, I have a lot of experience with that.
That voice changer is really good.
Yeah? Fuck Raid Shadow Legends, but I'll call out to voice mod. That's how we do our stuff. Voice mod. It's great.
And you log in 7 days.
Hell Knight Ravine, I can't express to you the willingness I am at lengths to go to see this threat vanquished. More so, I additionally worry that the payload system is just one of many. If this enemy is in the same capacity as they were when I was a young or checkmate, there is a high probability that entire systems, galaxies will fall.
So I am certain of one thing. If this system faces an external threat, if I cannot imagine a different situation that would pull all of its inhabitants together under one cause faster. If what you say is true, I mean, this enemy of yours may have picked the worst system to make an attempt on. Then I would give my life to make sure that that does not come to pass.
I do hear, however, that some of you not be done with my own world. Is that true?
Tatsu steps forward.
Yes, sir. I would like to negotiate passage to the planet. I have business in Frostfire Ridge.
That's a place I haven't been to in a long time. The situation on the surface has changed. Since Blackhand has been unseated, the anti-aircraft systems that have been preventing us to land before are disabled. And especially on that side of the planet. That is a much more peaceful place than where we sent you. On one hand, I see no reason to bar your entrance, even in your own ship if you choose to. The only question I have, because it is my home, why?
It is the home of the parents of my betrothed.
This 9-foot-tall orc in power armor that makes him 11-foot tall has this completely blank expression for about 4 seconds. And then, without cracking a smile or frowning or giving any form of reaction whatsoever,
If you were looking for permission, it is granted. You may depart whenever you wish.
Thank you.
Tatsu turns to the rest of the group.
You do not have to follow. I can find other means of transport if needed.
What is this venture you're going on?
To fulfill a promise made to me, and to pay my respects to the dead.
You see, for the first time, you think you see this giant lizard get slightly misty-eyed.
Is this a journey you want company on?
There is no need for you not to come.
And have you considered the guild in this?
I'm sorry, the what?
The guild, the Adventurers Guild that we are beholden to.
This will take no more than a day, perhaps 2 at the most.
And just piping in from a lore perspective, Adventurers Guild stuff is basically you take jobs when you want. You're not necessarily beholden to return home immediately. This is, if you are thinking that this is technically like going off mission or something that you would not normally be allowed to do, you would be allowed to.
Okay.
And you will find out about it eventually. But given that war seems to be on this system's doorstep, being able to get out here again to do such a thing would be unlikely for the foreseeable future.
Can you hear the banging back here? Is that coming through the
Actually, no,
microphone?
not at all.
Nope, you're good. Oh, I hate doing this voice.
Well,
I don't think Fee has anything to add to that. She's still grumpy.
Clearly.
Are we going, or am I finding my own? This is up to you.
Is Alton literally just standing there smiling, going like this? Because that is.
That's what I just saw.
No, I'm just waiting for Tog to ask why I rolled a stealth check. There's a reason behind that.
Oh, no.
That's been going on. I noticed it. I was letting this play out.
Yeah,
But I'm
that's
letting
what I was
this
thinking.
finish playing out first.
Absolutely, fair enough. Oh,
Yasana,
just so we're clear, Alton.
Builder, Haran, anybody have any response to this? We gotta plan what we're doing.
Derelict of Brutak. If we choose to let our friend here take our ship, would you be able to return us to Ursula City?
We can make accommodations for whatever you need. If need be, we could prep another drop pod if we have to.
He smiles like an asshole, like he's going to stuff Tatsu into a Helldiver drop pod and just shoot him at the place.
Shit.
It sounds like you want to make this journey alone. I don't want to be in your way. But I support you.
Thank you for that. If you want to get a drop pod ready and get me up back to the city, they can take the ship.
To be clear, this can be done any number of ways that you guys want to. Doesn't matter. This will be a scene that takes place, and if you guys want to be in the scene, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while all this bullshit is being discussed. Fucking good barrel, why are you rolling stealth checks of 24?
Don't,
You crazy
don't,
motherfucker.
don't curse my big scene.
Oh no!
Hasn't
no,
started yet,
no.
you're still good.
No, Alton has nothing to do with what Tatsu's doing, actually. Alton is going to sneak around to Leanie
Mhm.
and try to sneak her away to have his own
Side
personal
conversation.
conversation. Yeah, side conversation.
You could have just done that without the sneak.
It's a rogue, he's gonna sneak.
And listen, he wants to use his stealth ability, okay?
Sneaker's gonna sneak.
So, what I'm gonna say is the question of is everybody going with Tatsu has been presented. before that whole thing even came up, Alton did like nudge Leany, and them both being short, managed to like go off. Are you trying to get like, because you're in a like an observation room? It's a big open thing. There's not really places to hide behind. Are you just trying to like move off to the side and like have a quiet conversation, or are you trying to get out of there?
Get out of there.
I mean, 24
I also
is
have
pretty
my
good.
I also have my hood up in case anyone tries to.
Yes, because
perception check
that's
against
totally
me.
gonna do it.
No. They get disadvantage
You're the only short
on
thing that
perception
we're gonna
checks
know.
to see me.
Cool.
He goes all the way to the door, and then the door opens, and then we all notice because the door makes
Because that's
a
a
sound.
thing, and that's true. Because there's one way into this room.
That's fair.
Still pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Plus 15, huh?
Uh-huh.
How?
Ship sensors. Don't notice him. You walk, you have the hood thing up, you see the door cracks open, then there's a little red scanny light that passes over you. Nothing happens. You're off to the side.
Yes.
What happens?
Alton says to Leany when we're away from prying ears, as it were, I'm sorry. I know when last we met before now, I left abruptly. And a large part of that is because I didn't want to take you down the path that I went down. It was...
Before Alton gets another word out, two things happen in rapid succession. First off, she slaps you across the face audibly to get you to stop talking. The second is she kisses you.
Yes!
And I'm going to say the conversation is essentially done there. And it's happening in wibbly-wobbly time because Alton kind of initiated this during the other conversation. So, back to the stuff with Tatsu and the rest of the party.
Have all of you taking your ship, or are you going to be sent?
Out of game,
Hmm?
the reveal would be better if everybody came.
There's that.
But, like I said, we're going with you. Let's go.
And right about there, I think that's the perfect time to say, okay, this is a great spot for our break.
Totally believable. Thank you.
Excellent.
That's what I'm here for.
Well, okay. Now we're gonna do one extra little bit because you guys are moving back to your ship. Leany, essentially, everybody turns around and sees the end of a kiss. Alden gets slapped across the face again, and she passes him something, does one of these, and then walks away further into the Hell Knight ship because she was working with them in the first place. So it's assumed that she's stationed here. Alton has her number.
Yes!
Slap!
And very briefly, you guys are returned to a place that you all haven't been in quite a while. Oh, hey, that works now.
Our own ship?
I don't even remember what it looks like.
It looks like
Oh.
that.
It's a square with other
Oh,
squares
wow.
inside of it.
It's been that long,
I
guys.
missed you.
Uh-huh. And that is where I'm going to say we're going to take a break. We're going to be right back. And then I'm going to see how much more of this epilogue we can get out for the evening. So, yeah.
I'll play all of it.
We're
Turn
going to
right
be
in.
right back. Bye for now. We'll be back like 10-15 minutes.
See ya.
After the messages, we'll be right back.
So I'm unmuting. Everybody's back. A little faster than usual, which is fun. Where was the right button? Where was the right button? There it is.
Holy shit! I rizzed her with the tism.
I have something important to say to Scarlet.
It's right next to the
Now I
button. to
finally
promote
realize
Rain
this is
Charlotte.
Scarlet's.
No!
What the fuck?
Back, Scarlet. We're back.
You did great, Scarlet. That was perfect. You're very good at this. Good job.
Did I use it right?
Yes.
Oh, it's good. It's
Rizz
so
with the
good.
tism.
You're very
Oh,
smart
done.
and pretty and wonderful and kind and intelligent and talented, Scarlet.
And your jokes make my side hurt, literally.
She's about to come back as a fun, undead creature for
Mhm.
us all to
Yeah.
see and enjoy.
Maybe in a literal sense. Anyways, that's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. You guys are back in your ship that you haven't seen in a little bit.
Gotta send her the meme now.
Smells like almost home.
Teen Spirit?
Yes, that.
Oh.
Yeah.
It depends on who's the college student that just like does axe showers.
Here we are.
Don't
Not
you fucking dare!
No,
I
I'm too old for
will
that
drop
shit.
you under 0 hit points for that shit.
Here we are now.
Unforgivable.
Entertain us. Here we are now. Entertain us.
Maybe
I was joking when I was
inspiration.
raising my hand. However, I did have a question tied to the
Hit me.
axe showers.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
no.
Who in the fucking party is doing that shit? Cause no,
Nobody.
get a real shower.
Nobody.
Good.
No
All
one.
right, just
But
so we're clear.
it's chocolate. It's chocolate scented, and ladies love chocolate.
There is
You should not
This is
take a
true.
shower in the shit. You gotta
there's
be
an
clean.
airlock right there. The axe body spray will burn up upon re-entry.
Brought to you
It'll
today
explode
by.
midway.
So,
It's in a pressurized cannon. It's flammable.
Raid body spray.
oh, so what I'm gonna do with this bit is y'all back in your ship. Hooray! Been
Yay.
a solid minute since you've been able to take control of flying around the galaxy or doing stuff of your own volition. You've been in a mission and drop ships and under a lot of constraints lately. And getting back on your ship for the only expression I can come up with is more Helldiver shit. It does feel a lot like freedom. Unironically, because you can really go anywhere or do anything, and it's been like it feels like forever since you can do that. But you have a minute, you're all together. You have some time if there's any talking or anything that needs done, or you can just get moving.
Where are we? I don't.
You are
know that
currently in your ship, just outside of the Venator,
Oh,
over
okay.
the planet of Thrak. Not
Gotcha,
having
gotcha,
left yet because Tatsu wanted to go back to the planet.
Heard.
Builder will look to Tatsu for coordinates on where we're flying.
Tatsu types in the coordinates and locks the nav computer onto it.
It pops up. So the portion of the planet that you guys have been on before has been very jungle, very like around like equator, as hot as it could possibly be. You assume for the purposes of like all that lava and forging and stuff like that. Where you're going is literally close to like a continent that curves up, and it's about as close to the North Pole as you can get with the way the continent is shaped. It's that way.
Dress warm.
You see,
dress
is anybody
warm.
doing like, is anybody looking at stuff before you actually go in? Because I can throw things up.
Alden has a little bit of a speech prepared for everyone, but that can wait till we're on the way down.
So, the answer to my question is no, therefore, you are
Right,
en
correct.
route.
Oh, excellent.
Someone rolled a 1 on something. Oh,
Yep.
good.
Oh no.
Does it blow up?
We just hear a crash and God damn it!
Is there an explosion?
No,
I'd hope not. We might die if there was.
there's not a power source attached yet.
Yet.
So is everyone ready for Alton's little speech?
Yeah,
It
lay it
doesn't.
on us.
I don't think it matters if they're ready or not. He's just going to
It's
do it.
happening anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
Here it
Yeah,
comes.
that's fair. So Alton says, I've been thinking throughout the past few days, and I want to apologize to you all for having been such a damnable fool, as it were. You are my new family, and I chose all of you to be that, and I appreciate all of you. And I will make a conscious effort to be better moving forward. I'm still going to absolutely be an idiot at times, but I hope to become a lovable idiot instead of just an idiot.
It's a
Sorry, was it
journey
in game or
forward.
out of game?
Who wants to go first?
I love you too. Y'all go
There's
ahead.
there's a cue.
Oh boy.
Alton, if you weren't a lovable idiot, you wouldn't be here.
And he just kind of like half like unsure what to do, just kind of pats you on the head and sits down.
Alton will take that in stride. He'll take the win here.
like when you absolutely know what you're about to do is going to be the wrong thing to do, but you're already in motion of doing it, and you're like, oh no.
That's God. But you're just like, oh no, I'm still doing it. Oh. Sorry, that's too real. I resemble that comment, you know?
It just means you touched on something that's a real thing.
So real. Too real.
Puppy! Oh. Sassy puppy.
Not to change the subject, Alton, but in fact, on a very related note, if you would like, I am still able to heal you if you are hurting. I know that last battle was tough. It's a test!
Oh, Tatsu looks like he's about to die.
Oh,
We forgot about that.
There's that.
Tatsu is literally bleeding out onto the floor. Tatsu is at 3 out of 41 hit points.
Well, you have to have at least 7 because
You
I
would have
healed
gotten
you for that
7
already.
back.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you're at 10
I'm
now.
gonna say that's better, but like,
Still hurting.
like it's worrisome.
That's fair.
Alton turns to Fee and says, "The past few days have been hell. I just got slapped, kissed, and slapped again by the woman that I have definitely fallen for, and yeah, I would love to have healing from you at this point because
Mend my
the
heart.
The juxtaposition of those
feeling right
sentences
now.
makes
the confusion I am feeling right now is enough to cause me more anguish than any physical ailment, and I don't need the physical ailments right now."
Yeah, and not dissimilar to how Tatsu recently has been like, oh god, what am I doing? Fee, like, goes over to heal him.
Fantastic.
And touches him and, let's see, hold on, what am I doing here?
Just a little head pat, and I'm healed a little bit.
Yeah, she goes out to touch him, and does, as she touches him and says her little prayer. She says it very quietly. It's actually murmured under her breath. Again, she's not sure that this is a super welcome goddess, which has always been kind of the case. But she will then say, "Sorry, physical wounds only."
Fair enough.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a very real in-universe joke. I'm happy with that. 12.
As the big red handprint on his cheek.
Oh, whoops, hang on. Okay, that put me over. All right, hang on, I gotta do math. Hang on. The big red hand cheek stays.
It's gnome-sized.
Yeah, how big could it really be?
It's
I'm a halfling.
So it's
comparatively big.
It's
that
traditional healing. It heals
I
the
mean,
oldest wounds first.
proportional. It's really proportional. if you...
That's a good one. That makes me happy.
But no, that stays. I'm fine with that. Thank you, Fee.
Was there anybody else, or just
Tatsu coughs up some blood.
I'll have to use this power carefully here. Was anybody else in need of healing?
Somebody help me.
Aside from Tatsu was the beginning of the phrase here. Yes, I can see you, Tatsu. Yes, you're very important. Let me make sure that I can use my power to help us all most effectively.
Are we gonna have time for a long rest?
Are you going to eventually have time for a long rest?
I'm feeling I'm gonna need a long rest.
So Tatsu did mention this could take a day, maybe 2.
Fantastic. I'm going to take a long rest so I can get my spells back. I am tapped.
Not a terrible idea. So technically, you don't have them yet. I'll let you know when you do.
Yeah, fantastic.
But you have a good idea that rest is on the docket as soon as you deal with all of this shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, since nobody else spoke up, Fee will go and see how damaged Tatsu is and look him over
Bad.
both.
It's bad.
He's bleeding on my cockpit, Dave.
He's bleeding on your cock.
Why won't anybody help me?
And she will tend to some of his wounds with the medical kit before doing another cure wounds. Nine.
Neato.
9. Sorry.
It's a higher spell level, but less points. Sorry, it's the way the cookie crumbles.
It says 7 initial healing, and then the higher level cast just adds to that, right? So you get 9 plus 7. Is that how it works? I don't know. I could be reading it wrong, and I'm.
Hold on, well, let's
making
look.
sure.
It says 1 times 2 to the power of D. Oh, I see.
To the power of.
Yeah, it is. It's the power of D8. It's in the parenthesis to the D8. It's multiplied by a D8 is wrong. It would have to be the right? I don't know. Fuck it. Anyways, 3 plus 6. 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus. Yeah, wait. Maybe they do. Maybe they are added.
Oh, you just give me plenty of time to set this shit up, so I'm not complaining at all.
So I would agree that you got 13, Alton, and then whatever 7 plus 9 is 16.
All right, adding another 7.
Right, because it was 8 and 8. Take 1 from the 9.
I am now badly bruised.
Which is much better than it was.
But internally.
That's where your blood's supposed to be.
That means I'm good.
Excellent. So, Who is flying right now? I assume since Alden is being silly and getting
Well, I
killed,
mean,
it's
all of us
Builder.
are in the ship, so.
Well, technically you're all flying, but who's actually driving?
I'm actually piloting. Do you want me to do a check?
No, this is not. For all of
No,
my
no,
stuff,
no. We're
I'm going
actually
to
starting a whole new campaign. We
right now.
crash into the side.
Yes, perfect. Driving and piloting skills and stuff are going to be in all of my games. Either if you are under duress, like you're like being in combat or something like that, and there's a situation where you just couldn't, just drive because people can just drive, or if we're like determining how much time something takes to happen, just for clarity. So you're flying, and you are seeing, as you are passing over areas, you're seeing little readouts of, like, the territories that you are passing over. And when you head to the area of where Tatsu has put in the coordinates for, when you start to head towards the northern hemisphere, you see this pop up. Little data entry picture. Essentially, it's one of those things that it's just literally giving you lore as you come in.
We got a fast travel spot unlocked, guys.
Basically, yeah.
Yay!
And possibly unironically. So, break through the clouds. And what you see is, it is kind of terrifyingly beautiful. So you were in a very jungle region of Thrak before. All like law of the jungle, everything trying to murder you, everything like violent and warlike. And now you break through the clouds, and what you see is this mountainous region. Kind of gives you vibes of like real life Alaska, if it were fully volcanic. It is long white mountains and like drifts of snow that are juxtaposed with little cuts into it of like open lava flows. It is literally a land that seems to have some kind of weird symbiosis between fire and ice. And you head over the area. You see a couple of full-blown, like, orcish fortresses. As you look down, you see there are a number of as you're getting lower, you can see what looks like a group of something moving in kind of like a flying V formation over the ground. When you look closer, it is
Baby Dragonborn.
not really. It's on the ground. First off, cutting through the snow, and it once you get closer, you were used to orcs before, of the forge and of the heat and stuff, like all bunch of iron armor and stuff like that. These are still large orcs, but they are wearing mostly furs, and they are riding wolves that are the size of horses. And they're going over the overland at about half the speed that you are flying, which is really fast.
Neat.
But you do pass them, and head closer to the area where Tatsu intended. To the a walled town that is labeled Frostfire Ridge. There isn't really a landing point. This doesn't look like an area that is known for like spacecraft or anything. This is definitely the areas of Thrak that lean far more in the like medieval orcish style thing, and It is a big walled village. And I suppose, where would you want to land in regards to it?
Are there any spots that look open, like that they would be like a designated spot for landing?
It doesn't look like this place has had ships land at it almost ever, but there are definitely open snowdrifts all around it. There's like 200, 300 feet of open, like just plain lands that's covered in snow, right up against the. So the village is like located against like a cliff wall that kind of dips down towards a lower section that is more lava and more ice and more stuff. So there's a big area outside. It actually looks probably a lot like the shit that is behind Matt right now.
That's where I'll park. Yeah. I'll put us as close as I can to the front entrance, or what appears to be the front entrance, but without disturbing or causing havoc for any of the ground denizens.
Havoc? No. You know, actually, this one's the one where I will make you make a little bit of a piloting check just to see how that goes. Landing seems like something that would be able to do a check for. That could be fun.
What is our?
It should be under your skills, like under your tools.
No, yeah, but it's intelligence is what we're
Yeah.
modifying it with, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh,
That ain't bad. That ain't bad.
It was almost terrible.
It was almost a 3.
He crashed right into the fortress.
Done. That's where
as we're landing, Tatsu goes over and types in a message that he sends off.
Excellent. Okay.
Just for the DM, telling them that he's arrived.
Okay. You land. There is a chaos? No. You definitely landed in a correct way to not cause chaos or disruption or anything bad to happen. But you definitely are noticed. Again, ships aren't really a common thing. Although the color of your ship isn't bad for blending in. Bunch of snow kind of blows around. You land, disembark, and you guys find yourself stepping up to a wall of a village which, unlike the last fortress you approached, immediately opens. It's stone walls, but a big wooden gate that opens, and you guys find yourself in the cool little area known as Frostfire Ridge. There are a pair of orcs on either side of the gate as you walk in. They're probably as tall as Brutok, but not wearing armor of anything. It's all white furs, wolf pelts over the top of their head, holding literal wooden spears with jagged metal spearheads at the top that you note have a glowing red ember on the top. And they meet you and stand there.
Builder's just following Tatsu. This is his little journey, so.
Tatsu's in the lead.
1 second.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so fucking long.
Mm-hmm. You wrote this a bit ago.
Just copy that. Tatsu walks up to them and is like, I am here to... I am Kuroda Tatsumasa.
betrothed to Akna. I am here to pay my respects.
You are expected. Cover this.
Yes.
I really, really want to know. He's still messing with stuff. With that high of a roll, whatever you're working on is very close to done, if not done already. Just so you're aware. You are...
Tatsu follows them.
You're all let in. What's everyone else? Like, Tatsu is very clearly heading to a specific place. What's everyone else doing? I assume just following?
Just observing.
Yeah.
Taking in the scenery. Is this an area Fee would recognize, by the way? I mean, not maybe this tiny village, but this landscape or section of the landscape.
This is probably one of the places Fee would know better, because this area and this clan was one of the first to attempt a freedom fighter movement against their old oppressors that you also worked to help.
Okay.
This clan is renowned for a couple of things. Where the Blackrock clan, again, was all very warfare in the forge and building. This is a clan of not non-violent, not like Buddhist monk kind of stuff. This clan is most well known for shamanism. This is the clan of religion and spiritualism amongst Thrak. And they don't really do gods, as it were. Fee would directly know that this is a kind of place that reveres both their ancestors and the elements specifically. Fee would know directly that the weird the temperature stuff with the lava flows and the ice and the fire and stuff, those are all directly related to this clan's shamanism and the fact that they have such a mastery of the elements. They can make things that should not live together in peace live in peace, and they care a lot about peace.
Gotcha. Heard.
So when you come in, everybody gets like a slightly less direct reflection of that. You see a lot of working happening. You see these big furry pack animals that are tusked and look like they could potentially be like vicious wildlife things, but they have like saddles and stuff laying over them, kind of like you would see oxen. You see kids running around, little orc children running around and playing. You see people working and keeping fires lit, and orcs manning the walls. You see a few tiny little stalls selling fruit. You see often one like corner near a wall. There looks like there is this like orc dude who is as big as the guards, but has like this big old white beard that goes down like past his belt, and he's waving his arms around and like he's engaged in a story. And there's a whole like 3 deep ring of like little orc children listening to some story that is being spun. You are in a very different place than you were before. That's the vibe. Tatsu, however, remind me, has Tatsu only heard stories of this place, or has Tatsu been there? I think only stories, right?
Only stories. I had to send her off, and then was immediately at the Adventurers Guild.
This kind of structure of buildings is pretty like the same across the planet. You besieged buildings that looked an awful lot like this down in like around the foundry, with these like red roofs and these spiked things that look like they were maybe built from the bones of something enormous. And there are a big building that you can see there in the image looks like a town hall, and there are several like dwellings that are built in the same sort of like circular octagonal hut style way, off in one far corner that is protected. It looks like more of a residential area, and the guards lead you that way. And you know what you are walking towards, so the tension level is very quickly rising. How's
Matt?
Tatsu doing?
Tatsu's very solemn.
What is happening? What is happening?
Matt, god damn it.
I can't tell if you should have inspiration or disadvantage. It probably means you did good. So,
Tatsu's very solemn and quiet. And he follows them to where they're going.
there is another minute of tension slowly, terribly rising. And you wind up finding yourselves outside this very modest little hut. It has a little banner outside of it, because they all do. There's all little orcish symbols and little images, maybe a sword, maybe an axe. On this one, there's a little hammer. And it looks pretty similar to all the other ones, except for the outside of this, there is a covered with snow, a very unused anvil, a little fire place. Doesn't look like it's been used in quite a while. The guards kind of stop. One of them looks down at Tatsu, sees. And this
Tatsu's
huge,
just kind of quiet and like just white knuckling their fists. Just
this huge green hand comes down on your shoulder. Not hard. You hear the guard mutter something under their breath, kind of ragged in Orcish, that nobody speaks except Tatsu. Tatsu, for the moment, until the spell ends, is under the effects of Bless. With a reassuring pat. And both guards leave you, heading back to their posts, leaving this group of non-orcs in the middle of an orcish village, just alone and free. Every once in a while, there's this little orc kid that is they're all talking in orc-ish, but like Builder, you see one little kid that is absolutely going like, "What the fuck is that?" and like pointing straight at him. But he's got like a big stupid like smile on his face, like his tusks are like too big for his head and they're out like that way a little too much.
Builder will probably like acknowledge the kids and just kind of like, you know, in a creepy robot way, like smile and wave, like not knowing what to do. Builder doesn't interact with kids.
They
a lot,
immediately begin like laughing and squealing and just run away, like off to just some other portion, like their mind's already gone on something else.
Tatsu knocks on the door.
So, I had this slide prepared for a little while. Not two figures answer the door. To Tatsu's surprise, but three.
Slightly confused, Tatsu enters and bows in prostration. And the misty eyes you have been seeing since the Hell Knight ship have turned to frontiers. I'm so sorry. I let her die.
The term "let her," when you get to that part, as Tatsu's eyes are down in the bow, all of a sudden you are being hugged by two people at once.
He is just shocked and does not know how to react. Stiffens up slightly.
I don't let go. There's a long
And he starts to cry a little bit harder.
There's a long, like, just session of everybody all finally together, hugging, crying. It's like a hut with a little flap in front of it, so it's not really very well concealed. And this is like a almost like full solid minute before anyone speaks, and anyone who is watching is literally watching the process, the end processes of grief occur. I'm gonna give a minute if anyone does anything, although I assume from how everyone's been behaving so far, it's just quiet and somber.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alton.
Alden's quiet and somber. He understands.
Alton
He
opens the
respects
black
us.
box.
Oh.
No, no.
Don't even
It's
joke
just
like
like-
that.
It's just
It's not the right time to do it.
He just drops the box, and a little red beam comes out of it, just like it's Helldivers, and he kills everybody.
Okay.
This happened before. So,
Solemn. Serious.
It's happened
sad.
before.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes, it's happened before.
he's killed us all
Friendly
before.
fire demon
Probably
rage
has killed us
exists.
all. Probably has killed us all on more than one occasion.
I love that.
The scene goes on for a minute. Almost two. It's it's like almost like an exorcism of old bad emotions. And eventually, the husband finally gets like a hold of himself and like straightens up. None of this, he says in very kind of broken common, but was your fault. If anything, there is only one thing that you have brought into this world. That is honor. Slaps you on the shoulder. You have done well. And you are welcome here.
Thank you. It looks like another wave comes, but he controls it. Alton, I swear to fucking God.
It's Alton
Not
cannot
being
keep
dealt
his.
with.
He starts crying.
Oh,
That's
he's
all.
trying to see if he can
Starts
keep his
to
shit
cry.
together. So
Yeah.
people totally see Alton crying a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
He
I like
can't
that
keep
one.
his shit together very well.
Agna did not mention a sibling.
She did not have one until about a month ago.
I'm sorry, we're all waiting in silence, which tells me that my internet might have cut out at a bad time.
Nope.
Nope, you're good.
No.
Tatsu just kind of, caresses the head of the child, seeing different features of Agna.
Is a really, really cute little orc baby.
Mm-hmm.
Got a big old head and chubby cheeks. Tiny, barely perceptible tusks, but they're thick already. They're strong. It does remind you.
Agna said she had sent a missive, a request for me before.
She did. Would you like to go through this?
I promised her.
And it's done. Give us a moment to put little Kuro on the bed. And we'll begin.
Of course.
Rhoda? I have no serious. I'm sorry. I'll go back to meeting.
No, you're picking up what things are being put down.
Alton.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh,
No.
oh. Alton cleans himself up a little bit and gets the tears to stop, and he just looks at Tatsu and realizes something is way more personal about this journey than simply paying respects alone. He seems to be on a personal journey of grieving as well, and it's all too familiar to Alton what this is symbolic of. And he starts to think to himself, wow, Alton needs to take a trip later down the line when time permits and we're not fighting an intergalactic war to truly pay respects to John's family.
On that, it's been a lot of Tatsu in there. Is everybody else okay? And also, what the hell, Haran, is that about? I have to know.
Oh, he's juggling outside the tent.
Juggling.
Juggling.
I mean, he's not involved. He's here
Okay.
Just
the-
For the
wait,
children.
boy.
for the limited emotional support that he gives, because he doesn't understand.
Hold on, I have a representation of the emotional support that Huron provides.
no, no, it's more of oh, okay.
Is that your cool kids hat?
Yeah.
Builder. So what I'm going to say is the husband steps out of the tent and regards the rest of the group. They will probably be a while. Make yourselves comfortable. Feel free to eat.
So
Feel free to sleep.
you said there's a forge right next to it.
There is.
This house. Do you mind if I use the forge?
Tattoo straightens up at that, but he.
Oh well,
doesn't.
I'm asking the person. So.
Mhm. This belonged to someone who passed.
Okay, I won't then.
It depends. If it is something good and honorable, then I would permit it. If it is trivial, I would kindly request you to not.
I don't know, so I'm gonna say no.
Thank you for being considerate. And he bows. And they go into the hut. I'm going to assume that there is a montage of time passing with Builder literally being covered by children crawling all over them.
I assume at some point Builder turns into a snowman or something similar.
Builder will have an actual carrot jammed into his open nose socket.
I don't need it. Okay, alright, thanks.
It's awesome! And just like da 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 on your head.
They're
Playing
children
bongos.
builder. They're children builder. They're gonna do these kinds of things with something they've never seen before. I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
Concept of children, but it's been about at least over 1,000 years since I've really interacted with any.
You're doing fine.
Tatsu is
Actually,
notably
yeah.
not going to be there for any more conversations because this is going to be beginning and occurring probably about 5 minutes after that conversation is over.
Oh, cool.
He's just like hanging out with the kids. You know, there's that one guy telling the story, and it
Mhm.
comes to that point that she's so familiar with, and she jumps in, the kids are like, "Oh, yay, storytellers!"
So
And she's gonna go be like a cultural person.
Question. It won't be as bad as you think either way, but I'm curious, is Fee using her hologram or not?
You know, it was actually occurring to me that I don't know that she had taken it off, but that I think when she came to a place she recognized, where she may be recognized, she would have.
So interesting. There's an interesting setup for you specifically. This particular village, you are not personally recognized.
Okay.
Nobody seems to give a shit at all that you are a drow. You are welcomed with open arms and offered food. And boy, it's cold as hell out there, and this is the best stew you've probably ever had, especially after like the adventures so far on Thrak.
No more chili mac.
It's
Thank
not.
God.
It's decidedly not chili mac. And also, just as a point, there are like some of those like frost wolves that are the size of a horse, just like running around with the kids, running and playing. There is literally a child who takes a ball the size of his head and is hucking it to play fetch with these giant murder wolves, and it is playing fetch with them. There is a point where half of Alton's face is covered with slobber because one of them just fearlessly walks up and just licks the side of his face and walks away. Like that's just every day. No.
I also wanted to.
No,
just-
not against the power strip. Okay, sup? Go ahead.
No electrocuted cats, always good. I wanted to say when Builder was talking about the kids with Alton, if anyone was paying attention, there was a noticeable shift in Builder's demeanor and face.
Oh yeah?
Briefly. Yeah.
Can I make a perception check to see if I picked up? Or would that
You
be
picked up
insight?
on it.
Oh.
Unless he's actively hiding it, then no checks are needed.
He'll attempt to hide it, but my deception shit. So.
It's shit.
Oh, not
Perception.
shit.
If it's an opposed check, it's an opposed check. You don't see shit. He's a robot.
All right. God damn.
Feces fucking everything, which fits perfectly.
I can read you like a book, Builder.
He's a big ol'
Why did you
softy
say it
around
like
the
that?
kids.
Why did you say it like that?
Not creepy at all.
I don't know what you mean.
No.
That was normal. Wasn't that normal?
Hold on, I'm gonna have to update my book cover here. Hold on.
So, what is it that they
This
see?
one,
Oh
okay.
God.
When Builder talks about interacting with kids and mentioning to Alton that it was like about 1,000 years ago or whatever, there's this moment of just very, very briefly, this moment of complete and utter sadness and loss that Builder's face shifts to before they snap it right back to general Builder emotionlessness.
Is this a familiar sentiment? Have we come across this in him or in them once before? Or has Fee? I feel like this is something we've discussed in character or touched on in character in the past.
I don't. Actually, because Fee helped out with the cloak and stuff. Yeah, there's definitely been there's a sentiment there.
And we touched on family and family loss when Fee revealed her not personality, her other thing though, her disguise. Well, maybe we talked about it then too. Anyways, okay. I felt like it might be.
Very similar vibes.
Very similar vibes.
But this was a passing conversation as we walked, right?
Mm-hmm. You guys are essentially shown to that big town hall area. Also functions as an inn. So there are real beds. There are real. You get real food. You get real rest. And now, for real, finally, everybody can click that fucking long rest button.
I don't know. I
Tatsu
still had
included?
spell slots. I'm just shitting. Wow, I'm just shitting. That's all. I'm just shitting. I'm just fucking with you, Haran. I was just fucking with Haran. I was just shitting on Haran, you guys. Don't worry about it.
I'm not into that. Thank you.
Sorry, fucking with was what I was going for, but words apparently are getting hard.
Different vibe.
Words are bad.
Different dungeon.
You were fucking with Ron? What? Did I miss something?
I was no out of character.
No, I
I'm
missed
saying I
anything.
still had
It's
plenty of
fine.
spell slots. It's
Okay.
fine.
It's totally fine.
You're good. Don't worry about it.
I sent you an image for the
Oh,
next
God.
step of this.
Oh god, I needed that earlier. Oh no.
Sorry.
Okay. That says better. Cool.
What are you doing? Go outside. You want to go outside? Go outside.
Holy shit. There's purpose behind that. But we can deal with that later.
Oh good. My favorite. So, while I'm doing this real quick, what is everybody doing with their time? Because this takes a portion of it. It doesn't take a whole day, but you are left to your own devices for a while.
You shouldn't have said that to all of them.
Oh no! Tatsu comes back out in the whole village. No. No.
No.
It's all fire.
Shit. Alton wouldn't do that.
Yes, he would. Yes, he fucking would.
No. Alton's going to investigate, just looking around to see what he can pick up of the culture, see what he can pick up of the people. Just enjoying the time and what seems like a carefree place on an otherwise generally hostile world, and trying to figure out some of the nuances of how these people are so vastly different compared to what we were just dealing with.
You
And with a
get
nat 20, I hope I get a lot of cool stuff out
you
of this
hang out with the
venture.
kids who are like hearing old stories about how oh great, I made like 15 of these. Good.
Here's where all of our nat 20s were at this whole game.
That's
Mhm.
true. You get
Right?
like
They were waiting in the epilogue.
you very much get a vibe that Thrak is a planet that is very heavily defined by clan, and as you would know it, family. And they go down and like listing lineages and clans and stories of back to like old like war chiefs of old, and like how things got to be the way that they are. And from the sound of things, this particular clan was always a little more isolated than the others. Went up north because they didn't have quite the same bloodlust. And you hear this story about an orc named Duratan, who once you get this whole thing, like this whole story about how when he was young, he like had to I'm missing a whole bunch of shit in the Discord, aren't I? This is just terrible. I'm not even looking at it. I don't even care.
You are. Don't. It'll
I'm not
ruin
even
your
looking.
moment.
Telling you.
You're listening to a long story about how the young kid who would become the chief of this tribe, like lost their best friend, which was a wolf, to their own blood rage, and how that completely altered the direction that the clan was ever going to go. That they wouldn't be warriors, that they would be shaman, that they would be one with their world. And that philosophy differed them from all of the others, from the Black Rocks that you know before, from the War Song, from the Laughing Skull, and they list all these names that you have no real context for, but there's like this sense that there's been a whole history and a whole giant vibe of people that nobody outside of this place would probably really know. Nobody outside of this place would probably look at orcs as anything other than just orcs. And I'm not going to look at that. The short version is you find a deep history and how this place got to be the way it is. And it's resulted in a lot of peace. And a lot of storytellers, and a lot of good storytellers, because that old dude, that old orc, spins this yarn, and maybe it has something to do with you being halfling, but you find your butt right on a log next to some of the older kids, just listening and sucked in. Stories go on into the night.
I would,
Investigation. That was that. Yeah. Okay. So you get a lot. You get a lot. You get so much that I can even send you a YouTube video that Alton would have heard for that story, which I will do later. There's a lot.
oh, fantastic. You would like to
Right.
follow it up. Oh, go ahead, P.
Oh no, you finish up. I'm sorry.
He would like to follow up by requesting that he be able to tell a tale of his closest comrades.
Okay, so here's how this is going to go. Performance check.
Oh yeah.
I'm so hit. 13. So it's not the super rich story that you would just given. It has all the culture and history and yada yada behind it. But Alton, listening to an Alton story is like picking up a $2 pulp action novel that is clearly over exaggerated. Clearly, most of the details are probably absolutely made up, but only for the sake of awesome. So you can tell like there's a good like half of the kids that are like sitting there like rolling their eyes. But there's like there's like a good like third of them that are just sitting there listening to this and just like get vibed in with it.
The rule of cool.
The rule of cool.
Barrel tail.
What is Haran doing?
So Haran's using his basically working on the thing that I messaged you about. And he's using Kilowatt to entertain children who come near him as a distraction.
It's brilliant.
That's fun.
What does Kilowatt do?
He's probably just flying around. I've probably attached lights to him.
Just a couple going full, a couple of flashing lights, a laser pointer.
There is one point where Haran just turns around and there's just like this like extra small like little orc girl kid who's just like grabbed onto the bottom of Kilowatt and is just like flying this way like on a kite. Just like no 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 no.
I mean, yeah. But beyond that, he's just working on his thing. He's doesn't, he's by himself. He doesn't really interact with all of them.
Okay. That brings us on to what is Yasana doing in this very, very different place? I've got a few connections to maybe not this area, but
Hiding.
Staying out of sight as much as possible.
Yeah, she's not sure how the kids would feel about having a three-eyed woman in the middle of their village.
One of them has definitely passed their perception check because there's just too fucking many of them. And there's just like one like real like quiet kind of female orc that just like notices, and you have this moment of like, oh god, is this gonna be some high school like make fun of me shit? But you just hear her go like, cool, and just like this doesn't call attention to any others. And this one little orc girl is dressed all in like blue and like white fur, and just kind of sits down and just like looks at you for a minute. How did you get that way?
I read a lot of books.
I like books too. Pulls a tiny pouch, and all of these like there's like three like little like tomes. They're clearly like for young like readers, and it's clearly in Orcish, but it looks like one of them at least is like a treatise on like shamanism. Like you can tell just by the stuff on the cover. It's something about like almost like an airbender vibe, like mastering the elements. A vibe like that, and like aiming to be like a little shaman one day. And so Yasana, for the next several hours, is bombarded with a lot of questions, some of which are easy to answer, some of which are not.
Where do babies come from?
When she starts getting too annoying, I'm gonna use Mage Hand to start throwing snowballs at her.
It starts a small snowball war with just you two. It's nice and contained. But eventually she gathers up her books and just like waves. Don't manage to fully escape social contact, but
I wave back. And then pull my hood for like a little lower over my face.
nah.
Mm-hmm.
Hours go by, eventually it gets dark. It seems like there's a little bit of excitement that there's like visitors around. You guys mostly aren't left alone very much.
She's not a fucking Grinch.
Is that what's happening over?
Yeah. Fuck you too, Harambe.
So everybody who is not Tatsu, give me perception checks. You're looking to beat a 15.
Yeah, beans. Oh shit! All right, I'll take it.
They're finally rolling through. Haran got nothing. Builder
Ron
gets
didn't pay
zero.
attention to nothing.
That's a whole lot of nothing.
Surrounded by children. One of them is trying to eat Kilowatt, and you are distracted. He has no ability to devour metal, but
Now. Now.
he's like me and my cat. So,
No.
for everybody that made yawn perception checks, I'm going to say Alton and Builder, definitely. There is absolutely a noise coming from the hut that Tatsu was in. The best way I can probably describe it is there's definitely a little bit of more smoke coming from the little area that is a chimney. You can hear the sound of a drum going, and you hear the best way I can describe it is a vocalization that would probably sound like a very low, constant tone, kind of in the vibe of like Mongolian throat singing. And this goes on for approximately 30 minutes.
Matsui, why are you comparing their hut to a toilet?
I'm not. I'm just saying, if there were smoke coming from a place and Tatsu's involved, we know what happened.
Oh.
That was something that happened long,
I deserve
long ago.
that.
Sweeper
I
Bot
wasn't
still
gonna say
remembers.
anything out loud, but you brought it out. Sweeper Bot, Janitor Bot is definitely the
still
champion.
remembers. Although, in almost a little bit of a joke of that, it does culminate to one loud bang of the drum, and all the vocalization stops. And there's this electric crackle. To the point where you can definitely see the blue of like light that does come from out the little flap that covers the hut. Does anybody come to inspect?
Oh, I absolutely do.
Okay. So,
And Builder will follow Alton to make sure that he hopefully doesn't get into trouble. But
I was gonna say Fee was not necessarily paying attention, but
that would be a pretty easy
glowing
to.
light.
That'd be pretty easy to not, miss.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Ron
Right,
doesn't
big
see
boom and
shit,
things.
so.
Cool. So Fee will also go investigate.
Okay.
Ron's engrossed in his work.
Obviously, very like unmistakable. A serious ritual spell has just been cast.
That's persuasion. I'll roll mine too. The other P.
No.
That P doesn't know anything.
You don't know
God.
anything. But you do see all your friends going. So, you don't know what they're doing, but you know they're going.
Oh, okay. Maybe Tatsu said he was ready to go.
When you go to the tent, there is... The first thing that you notice when you approach is the smell of, like, ozone. You're reminded of a little bit of, like, when Tatsu has used their breath weapon before. Like, the elemental associated with them. The flap cast aside. Inside, you can see there's been a ritual circle laid out between the two orcs. They're very much wearing ceremonial, like, white furs and robes and stuff. And there is a big fur cloak over Tatsu, but you can see that on Tatsu's, like, lizard snout, there's the same, like, line of red down it that is on the two orcs. There's the same two lines of white down the cheeks that are on the two orcs. Kind of like a unifying vibe. But you can't see the rest of Tatsu. And this is where I'm going to turn it over to you, and you basically tell me when to push the button.
You see Tatsu lift up their hands and look at them and just feel them, and they start to pull back the hood of the ceremonial robe, and it drops back.
Push the button.
Push the button.
Lag, but it's coming. Eventually. Roll20 has been extra laggy tonight.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
There it is.
Dope.
And
Really cool.
besides maybe when she was drunk, you see a huge grin form on her face as she hugs herself, and tears come down her cheeks.
Alton just looks at this and immediately says, "Did Tatsu just become a goddess? Hold on. There's a lot of light there. I don't know. The ritual. What the fuck is going on here?"
I'd say at that rambling, Tatsu notices and looks, and oh, and at the less gravel in her voice, she's like, oh. Hello, everyone.
Neat look. Alton just that's all Alton does is neat look and smile.
So Builder will walk up to Tatsu and just looking continually in her eyes and say,
Fun fact, or check is, we get to know people on a molecular level, so you don't look any different to me. But I'm glad you look better to you.
She stops for a minute contemplating what Builder just said and hugs the big metal robot.
I'll allow it.
Yay, self-discovery journeys. We love it.
You,
I kind of
you look
figured
happier.
I am happier.
You deserve it. You deserve it. Absolutely.
And seeing as I did not start my transition journey until halfway through this campaign, I thought it would be great if she ended this chapter starting hers.
Very cute. I like it. I'm very happy.
You should be allowed to be who you want to be. After everything that you've done for our daughter, you deserve it. You made her happy. Believe me, she has never been more happy than when she talked about you.
Tears come again, because how could it not?
Alton pulls out a handkerchief and he says, "You need this? You need this? I mean..."
No, Tatsu, thank you. Or no, Alton, thank you.
Fair enough.
Builder looks to Fee for a moment after this whole little exchange with Alton and Tatsu, and just leans down and whispers, but like not trying to keep it super quiet, but trying to be a little quieter.
Is Alton into Dragonborn now? Not goblins? What's going on here?
No, I just really support a person's true self
He did
and
call her a
the
goddess.
journey. Would you?
Alton's input in this two-way conversation is completely ignored. They just keep going.
Yeah, exactly as done. He did, just talking over. He did call her a goddess.
You know, that's what got me too, is the whole goddess thing was a little weird, you know?
There was a lot of flashing lights.
And then and at this, the camera is slowly panning out where the conversation can still be heard. Kind of making fun of Alton. All right, what does Haran put together?
I already messaged you about it.
Oh God, I've been given things I can't read.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm just like literally, he's just not paying attention to anything. He's hyper focused.
So the camera is like slowly panning out as this happy solution has occurred in like you can see the village and like the indelible six parked right next to it, and off in some corner of the village where Haran is, you just hear like now, and like lights and like noise start going off. And we get to essentially where we're going to pause the chapter. Where we're going to end this particular chapter of self-discovery, people falling apart and coming back together.
Gone is Tatsumasa, born is...
The instant you said the new name, you cut out. You said born is, and then your mouth moved and there was no name.
Very Beatrix Kiddo of you.
Tatsuhime.
Okay.
Neat.
Is neat. Although, that isn't while that is where we're leaving our party. Once again, that's not quite where we're going to leave the game. As there is another cutaway.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Zooming out of Frostfire Ridge, where everything is safe. All of our heroes are now full hit points, safe, ready to go.
Nuked from orbit.
Camera tilts up to the sky. Stars. And then down into a particularly alien ship.
It's making me angry already.
Interior. This isn't designed to just make you angry either. There's more.
I'd like to share the anger.
The interior of the ship is dark, low lit, although there are signs of organic life to it too. Definite biomechanical. The exact kind of thing that Builder is pointedly averse to. There is a group of 5 walking through the corridor of this ship. A long hallway rimmed with tendrils and opened windows and pulsing hearts. 4 of the figures walking through, robed and masked as before, look just like this chap that you ran into earlier. And they seem to be transporting another figure, hood drawn, hands cuffed. Seems male but thin. One of them nods their beaked mask towards that character, and they raise their hands to their head as if it hurt, and they walk faster. The procession eventually gets to a dais where another one of the masked creatures stands before it. One of the guards waves a hand, and the hood falls back. The person in prisoner appears to be a relatively handsome male drow. That one of yours has a relationship with.
I wonder
I wonder if it's feet.
And
Well, I mean,
she
how many
will
crowds do you
help
guys
scream.
know, really, you know?
Immediately, the drow begins begging. I'm sorry, we can do better. We can make sure there's no more interference. We can make sure. And he stops talking as the figure on the dais regards him, tilting his head up a little bit, like menacingly, cutting the words off. It picks up a little, cylindrical canister and walks over towards it, although then you realize it's not walking, it's levitating just a few inches off the ground. It lands in front of the drow.
You had your orders. You have proven to be a failure. It seems we need to take more direct control of this situation.
And holding this cylindrical canister, between their hands, they release it, and it hovers between their hands. They kind of twist their hands, and the cylinder twists without hands touching it, pops, and then the top opens, and there's a terrible little series of legs that start coming out of it, and it is very clearly the same biomechanical spider thing that was attached to a certain friend of Alton's. And Calican screams, high-pitched, terrified, mortified, as the thing leaps off over his face, around behind the back of his head, wraps his legs around his neck, and something burrows through the back of his head, straight up into the brain.
Are we going to have any more problems, puppet?
No, sir. None at all. In a voice that is definitely not their own. Dead eyes. No longer under their own accord. And that is where we're going to end the chapter.
Well, consider him an ex now.
That's the death do you part right there.
That's right.
Yeah, ever getting back together.
You know?
I mean, they might. Just did a different way now.
Hmm.
Where's my censor bar?
That
Oh,
was one
boy.
of the more frightening things
Oh,
you could have
boy.
said, you know?
Well, there we is.
Wow.
End of chapter 3. We did it after a bajillion years, but we did it.
Yep.
Hey! Every reaction you could get. Yeah, that would be that there too, of course. There's always one. Not that. That's okay.
We're
So-
ending, so you know.
Yeah, that is sad. But well, that's it. That's chapter 3. After 21 long game sessions spaced out because life happened, we made it.
We made it, folks.
Mm-hmm.
We did it. We did it. We did it.
So-
Yeah.
We are
Hold on, wait. We're
Hmm.
talking a lot of shit right now,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know about you guys, but I had a lot of fun, and I think Talk's a great DM, and I really appreciate the story,
That's
even though we're
nice.
currently shit talking.
Definitely.
That's what we do.
That's
Seconded,
nice.
thirded,
Yep.
fourth.
You guys are nice. Well,
Anyway, back to the shit talk.
back to the shit talk. So, I'm glad you enjoyed. That's Galactic. We have a bunch of other stuff coming up, which will be happening on the YouTubes fairly soon. I'll let you know how that goes.
Keep your
And,
eyes on our cast.
We'll definitely,
That's the wrong title.
yeah, we'll definitely see you next time, and there will be a next time, although it'll be a little different.